Hello. Welcome to Preparing to Survive and Thrive Homesteading channel with Charlie B. So, what are we working on today? Well, it's supposed to be 70 plus degrees here in South Central Pennsylvania on the 15th of February 2023. So, I am dropping everything. My house is a mess. I don't care. And I am going to feed the bees. Now, I'm going to show you what my recipe is for my 2-to-1 sugar water. It's very simple. For every 2 cups of sugar I use 1 cup of water. And it's boiling water because I want it to be hot. I want the sugar to melt. So let me bring you down and show you what we're doing here. Okay, so I have 8 cups of sugar in this bowl right here. And this sugar came from an apple sauce making plant, and whatever sugar they would spill on the floor, they give it to the beekeepers. Actually, the Beekeeper Association, somebody like that will pick it up, and then we'll all pick up a tub or a barrel or whatever. So I've been using this for actually the last couple years to feed the bees. It saves my cost. It's totally free. And I'm just melting the sugar. So there was 4 cups of water in here. I'm just going to give this a stir. And let this dissolve. It's going to be pretty thick. I'm not going to lie to you. And if it looks like it's not starting to melt the sugar, then I will actually end up adding a little bit more water. But I've got my water boiling right here. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. After this starts melting more, I'm going to dump it in a bigger container, and I'll show you that in a minute. What I've got here is a 2.5 gallon container with a spout on it. This will feed about 3 hives. I put my little strainer in here because sometimes I will find little bits of grass and stuff like that floating in here. This is really good to melt it. And I'm just going to pour this right in here. And I'm going to keep making this until this is completely filled up. And I'll just be putting more sugar in this bowl and more hot water, and we'll keep working on this. We'll be back. Well, hello. I am out here in the bee yard now. I've got my sugar made, and I've got some tools I want to show you. What I'm using and what I'm going to be filling up with the water. So hang on a minute. I'm going to just swap you around here a little bit. Okay, so I've got 2 gallon jugs of water and my big one there with the spout, and it is 2.5 gallons. Now these things right here, we have 2 different ones. This one is a feeder. It doesn't have the wire mash in it, but it has a stick that will float up on top. As you can see, it's right there. And this one is the one that has wire mash. Yes, this one is dirty because it was sitting outside, and I will clean them up this spring and summer if I need to, definitely before winter. So we're going to leave these sit here. I do not think this first hive is alive. So we have our bee brush here if I decide to pull the honey out, and put it in a container and save it either for me or for the bees later in the year. It's kind of an iffy half and half situation right now. I can't decide. But, of course, I have my smoker. It's a smoking because I don't know how the bees are going to react. I poured sugar all down the front of me. And so the bees will either love me or they will attack me. Or I guess we'll find out. And this little tool helps pry the lids off and also separates the frames if we need to do that. Okay, so let me get this one hive cleared off. We're going to give it a check. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, unfortunately, this hive is not alive, as you can see, and the mice have tried to move into there, and I'll have to get that cleaned out. There's nothing I can do with it. I'm not really sure what happened. I had fed these guys, but most of the honey is gone. But I think the mice ate most of that from what I can tell. See if I can get these guys undone. This is sad and I hate it, but yeah, it really looks like the mice were in there. So there's nothing in this level. I'll have to actually get that out. I really need to get, this is sad. It just breaks my heart when this happens. So I need to literally check the top box, and I'd like to pull out this, wax and actually try to get that cleaned up and use it if possible. So let's take a look at the other one. I'm gonna just put this back on it. You can see, yep, nothing's really done anything. There was that, I don't know. I mean, I fed them, so I can't believe that they would have starved to death or if they would have left. But we're doing what we can do, and we're just going to leave this one alone, and I'll clean it up later. So bear with me. Okay, this is my most active hive, and I'm not sure if you saw that in my hyperlapse. This is, I actually put 2 feeders in it, so they would be able to come out and get extra food, because this is a big hive and it's going to be definitely a survivor unless something crazy happens. I honestly don't like to say that, but sometimes, yeah, there you go. These are some good views. Someone is picking up pollen right there. So that's good. So they're going to make lots of babies. She is the queen, because she'll be feeding honey and there'll be pollen in there to feed the babies. So we are doing good. Now they've got more sugar water. And I'll be back in just a few. But you can watch this guy for a minute. Oh. So I'm bringing you out here on this side of the fence, and you can see the bees are definitely coming and going. Most of the hives were good on honey, and I still fed them because they'll just fill up their stores, because I can guarantee they've been eating them. And this one was very low, my biggest hive. So I went ahead and put 2 feeders in there. And when spring comes, well, I'll probably actually be out here before spring. Next warm day, I'll be out here checking and feeding them. And if these other ones are looking like they're getting low on honey, I'll put a second feeder in them too on the third box. So, only time will tell. And I did clean up this one. And it's going to sit there just to kind of air out. And if there is anything, the bees will get it. There was a mouse in there, because when I lifted up the bottom board, he took off. But my garden cat, Stash, he was hanging out in the weeds, and he probably got him. Sorry, that might sound rough, but yeah, you can see. And these boxes right here, they had honey in them, but they are completely empty now. The bees used it up. I am very glad. They probably pricked it and then removed it down at the bottom for them to filter stores that's closer to them. And that's what we wanted them to do. I'm going to let these sit until there's no bees on them, probably tomorrow morning. And I'm going to pull them up and put them in my enclosed porch where they can get lots of sun and hopefully no moths. Because we don't want the moths in there because they eat the honey. I can put these back in the hives in the spring after I stop feeding them, and they can start filling them up with honey. So I can actually get some this year from these guys. So I love my bees. I absolutely love my bees. There are my girls. So let's flip you around here. Okay, so well, that's my day in the bee yard. It's beautiful. We just got a little bit of a breeze, and I'm going to get out of this absolutely sexy get up and clean up the rest of the mess. Alrighty, so remember, if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. Charlie B signing out, and thank you for being a subscriber. Enjoy.